On that note, since we're talking about outcome goals, and for some people they just want to show up as a more present, more productive parent with their kids. For other people, they are sort of hard, tangible achievements that they can touch, right? Like for some people it is, I want to win the Olympics or the SEA Games. For some people, the outcome goal is, I don't know, I'm trying to build a company.
Finish marathon.
I'm trying to build a company and sell it for whatever. Or I'm trying to, I don't know, launch something and get it to this level of success. Or I'm trying to maybe nurture this important client relationship and then have it become a successful long-term business relationship. Something like that, right? That is, for them, a clear outcome that they're working towards. Do you think that's important for human beings? The setting it up so we have to achieve something big and scary. Yeah, do you think that's important?
I think having something that is aspirational in nature in our lives is always important. I think like how sometimes when we participate in recreational sport and we talk about how it's not about the winning or the losing. It's when winning is a bonus and when you lose you learn. I think that's obviously true, but winning is also important. I think we need wins in our lives. We need to when we win, we get a very particular kind of feedback, right? It's a very unique kind of feedback, that we are actually competent in the thing that we're doing.
Winning is as evidence of competency is huge.
It's not the only evidence of competency, but it's definitely a very important one, right? Yeah. It's, we can't deny that a world champion in tennis is not competent in tennis.
And when they walk into a room, you can feel that they're different in some way.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, sometimes they can be pricks, but barring that, when someone has achieved significant things in their lives, they have a certain presence and confidence about them that you can tell is hard earned versus fake.
Yeah. So wins are important because of the sense of competence that it can contribute to, amongst other things that can also contribute to the sense of competence. It also brings you a kind of social recognition that feeds our ego, which can become unhealthy, but it's also can be good for us in some way, I think, sometimes.
I mean, it would be silly for us to pretend like status doesn't matter in society.
Yeah. Having a reputation for competence, having a reputation for having social recognition for that gives you avenues to build your own material wealth in your life, right? In certain ways. And I think all of that's quite important. Like you need wins in your life. Yeah. So in that sense, outcome goals are important. Like your process goals would mean very little if you're not trying to win. Because if you're not trying to win, then your process goals, you can just be very lax and we want to stay disciplined with our process goals for a good reason, because we want to win. And if we don't win, okay, fine, we learn from it, but we're going to try to,
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And do you think when it comes to the high performers you deal with, what are the risks there with over-indexing on winning?
Right.
What is the downside of that level of ambition and that level of drive?
I think on a bigger picture level, the risks of over-indexing comes when they do it with their pursuit-based identity rather than a singular event. So, for example, if you're a founder of a company X, that's your entire identity. You just rest your identity on being the founder of company X, and then company X falls apart, right? Then the founder then becomes, or that person in question then becomes really lost and basically has the rug pulled up from under his or her feet. And with athletes, there's a lot to talk about as well, because there are a lot of athletes where retirement is forced upon them. They go through injuries, and previously it was thought that recovery was a linear process, right? They recover means they go back to a pre-setback state. So they recover from an injury and they start playing at the same level they were playing again. And more so, there are research that shows how a lot of athletes actually retain their sense of well-being when they do three things actually. One is if they retain relationships that they have outside of sport. So relationship with their family, with their friends outside of sport. One is when their career ends, they very seamlessly join new social groups, new communities, and build new relationships. And the third thing is they are very open to trying new hobbies, trying new things, like broadening their passions, right? And sampling in different activities. And when they're able to do that, they find strong social bonds in other places. They find their sense of competence in other places. And if these things were done through their own volition, then they also have a sense of autonomy, right? So overall, their sense of well-being is retained. Whereas those athletes who over-index, so to speak, on their athletic identity, when the setback is forced upon them and they cannot recover, their well-being really takes a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many examples, myself included, and people I know included, who, you know, at a certain phase in life, you over-index on one thing, and it's usually a higher sense of identity to work or a higher sense of identity to the sport that you do, and for whatever reason, it collapses and
Social
it's no
groups
longer
as
a
well.
thing.
You only have one group of friends.
Yeah. And part of it is, you know, just like singular focus. Another part of it is, you know, insecurity and you just want to like outwork everyone. Another part of it is there's just not enough time, right? Because you're obsessing over this thing. But what I have noticed that is exactly in line with what you just said is for the people who took the time to invest in other areas of their lives. And in coaching psychology, there's a framework called the Wheel of Life that has, I think, like 10 variables. And it's, you know, obviously what you do for work, but also the quality of your relationships with your family and your friends, your contribution to a community around you. In some of these models, it's like spirituality and faith, also health and wellness and financial security, a bunch of different variables that tend to make up our sense of identity, right? And what I've noticed just from personal experience and just having friends gone through this myself as well, is the people who have robustness in areas outside of just the work thing or just the sport thing, when they fall, they don't fall as far. And they recover faster because they got, like you said, they got these other social groups. They got these other pillars to their identity. So it reminds them that, yeah, it didn't go so well on that, but there's a lot to be grateful for here. There's a lot of support that we can get. And from that strong foundation, we can rebuild.
And they transition pretty well between seasons too. I've noticed it with people like that. Like, I think all of that is not to say that we shouldn't go all in on a certain pursuit or a passion, right? I think if we feel fully passionate about a business idea or pursuing a certain achievement in a sport, like there will be a season where we have to go all in on it and sprint.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, and we're chasing I guess excellence, right? In the area. But when that time ends, then the season changes and we have to be okay with the season changing and moving on to the next thing, right? Like,
and it's actually in your best interests to, even in one of those high performance, high achievement phases where you've decided to just go for it, it's important to still maintain good relationships with the small circle that's important to you, to take care of your health and well-being, et cetera, et cetera. Just a few of those things. You have to have enough evidence in your life that those are important as well, and that those are high quality relationships, for example.